Ready? Yes, sir. Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order. Invocation, Charles, would you give us the invocation?
Father, we just praise you today. Praise you for the way you blessed us in our community. You blessed each one of us to be able to live here. And I ask that you guide each thought and decision that we make, that they'll be the one that you want us to make, that will help make our city a better, more peaceful, loving place to live. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, just remain standing. Dennis, we start off the flash
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We got one more. That makes it five. You did it that time, okay? We need a roll call.
Trustee Anthony.
Here.
Trustee Cross. Trustee Calhoun. Here. Trustee Johnson. Trustee Reed.
Here.
Vice Chairman Danny Scher.
Here.
Chairman Jim Thorpe.
Okay. The next one is the order of business, consider an action, approval of the minutes for September 9th, 2020 at the regular call meeting. Anybody have any questions over that? It's September 9th, 2020, the regular call meeting.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
We have a motion by Charles, is that second?
I'll second.
Danny is the second. Can we have a roll call?
Trustee Anthony.
Yes.
Trustee Calhoun.
Yes.
Trustee Reed.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Scher.
Yes.
Chairman Thorpe.
Yes. Item B, October the 1st, 2020, special call meeting. Have any discussion over that? October 1st, 2020.
Motion to approve.
Janet, did you make the motion? Okay, Janet made the motion. We have a second on the October meeting. Seconded by Debbie. Could I have a roll call?
Trustee Anthony. Trustee Calhoun.
Yes.
Trustee Reed.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Danny Scher.
Yes.
Chairman Jim Thorpe.
Yes. Passed two. Okay, two, review DTEDA financial report, August 2020. Have a treasurer?
So the August reports were included in the packet that was sent out. We came in August at 29,973. So we are still slowly starting to get back to what we had been doing in the previous year, but we know with COVID and everything else, it's still not quite there yet, but we're slowly getting back there. Any questions?
Any questions on that? On the financial report?
I would just say that we need to take in consideration the amount of decrease we've had this year as we spend money for any project or.
Okay. You brought up that you want a little bit more on this financial report. You want to know how much we want in the bank and what did you want so they can put it on there next month?
I wanted to have, and I don't see it because I don't,
No.
it's not labeled that way, but I wanted to have our total amount that's in our budget,
Okay,
including the revenue that was held over from last year as part of the revenue
so you want the total
for
amount
this
from
year.
whatever's rolled over for last year and the total amount. You want to see that on each one of these from now on, okay?
And that is included in the report. The ones that we handed out that are numbered, that I handed to you, it's on page 14.
Page 14.
That's the in-house report that you had requested.
At the what report?
That's the in-house report that you had requested.
Well,
Appreciate you numbering these things.
I don't know where it is.
Do you have a page number, Jen, did you say?
Yes, I handed.
Would you
I
give
handed him
that
one.
to him?
Yes.
Well, now I'm looking.
Do you have the one that I handed you right at the beginning of the meeting that has the
Yeah,
binder
I've
clip
got
at the top?
that.
So page
Is it
14.
numbered different from what you sent?
It is numbered. The one that was emailed out was not numbered.
Okay, gotcha.
There's not any of them that's got the total amount of the budget on these pages, right?
Well, there is, at the top of this page 14, there's a number of 501,000. Is that,
Nope, in the square, it has total amount in the account as of August 31st. Now, I'm getting that number based off of the treasurer reports that's provided by the city.
So you're talking about 764,000.
Yes.
Okay. See it up there? Right at the top of the page on 14. You see it?
yeah, I got
Okay.
that.
What else did you want on that next time?
Well, it looks as though, are these all of the individual expenditures
For this fiscal year. Yes, sir.
for August or from the first of the fiscal year?
From the first of the fiscal year.
Okay.
Yes.
Looks a lot better. Have any more discussion on that, on the financial
No, I
reports?
appreciate you doing that. It
Yes,
makes
you
more sense to.
Good.
If y'all would like it formatted differently or anything, just let me know.
Any more discussion on the financial reports? No? No discussion? Okay, let's go to number 3, discuss and consider approval with the city of Durant for administration services. So, Judge, could you come up and see how far we got along?
After the last meeting, I had a discussion with the city manager, Mr. Dean, and also have had a couple of discussions with Tom Markham, the city attorney. I could not find anything in the law that would prohibit this board from contracting services with the city of Durant to perform the functions of as the secretary of this trust. Or as the treasurer of the trust. And Mr. Markham at first told me that he had some provision he wanted to read, but he hadn't readily seen anything that would inhibit that. And then last time I talked to him, he had found nothing that would prevent that. So I know of no authority that would prevent the board from doing what was proposed. Trustee Calhoun made a good point when I was talking to him just generally about this matter before, and that is we have to see what needs to be amended or whatever. And I believe the resolution that was enacted by the city council that authorized the proposal that was enacted by the citizens of Durant. Of course, the ordinance had language in it that's what actually established this authority. And then a trust indenture was enacted to give that life, if you will. And I believe that the trust indenture in turn gave this board the authority to enact bylaws. And the bylaws were a separate document that I believe was approved by and through the city council. And so the thing that I would need to check on is how those would need to be amended, because they're pretty simple. And of course, simple and straightforward is good. But I noticed when the bylaws were passed, there were actually, I believe they were adopted by this board. I was going to ask Jim if I can approach you. Is that your signature on this bylaw?
It is.
What it appears to me is that the city council, once this board was appointed, because as you all know, the bylaws are not the bylaws, but the trust indenture creates the manner in which the trustees are appointed, the terms they serve and all of that. And I believe that trust indenture gave this board, once enacted, the authority to enact bylaws about how to actually conduct the routine business and affairs. The bylaws obviously can't be contrary to what the trust indenture said. But I think the bylaws are going to have to be amended, just because if you read them now, Article 3 mentions the Secretary of the Trustees, and it says the city clerk of the city of Durant shall serve as the Secretary of the Trustees. Followed up by Article 4, the city treasurer of the city of Durant shall serve as the treasurer of the trustees. In other words, it's mandating their service. And I don't believe, based on the law we talked about before that caused the city to raise opposition to be required to do those services, that this board can mandate them to do that. So my thinking would be the bylaws would probably need to be amended to say that the board would request on a contractual basis, whatever this board decides on a yearly basis, that the city provide those services at a rate of compensation to be agreed on between the trust and the city. And for today, since I believe you can move forward with this, I think the course of action would be to authorize me as your attorney, or I suppose you could authorize your chairman to negotiate with the city of Durant on a compensation rate. Of course, that couldn't be formally enacted unless this board does it, but you could at least authorize your attorney or a member to someone that you wanted to do that to negotiate with the city of Durant. I asked probably as late as 3 or 4 days ago if the city had come up with a proposal about specific compensation, in other words, per meeting, per hour, per whatever, and I don't think they've done that yet, but they're still, as far as I know, very much in favor of moving forward with it. So I would think that it would be in order to enact to pass a motion authorizing someone to negotiate the rate and for your attorney to prepare a proposed amendment to the bylaw to present to you. That can be done in pretty short order. If y'all have any questions, I'll answer them.
Are you okay with, in favor of negotiating with the city manager and the city attorney?
Yeah, I don't have any problem doing that. I don't think there'd be anything to legally impair that. It just had to be clear that I was a communicator, because I don't have any authority to bind this board for anything. Just have to be a negotiator and see what, because in essence, with, just put it bluntly, the city's kind of holding the cards because you can't make them do it. And they're apparently willing to do it. And hopefully what you hope is that they would set some reasonable rate of compensation that's based on the time the service is going to take, and I honestly have not heard anything that would lead me to believe that it's going to be exorbitant, but the devil's always in the details, trying to work out an amount.
Do we need to make a motion for you to be our negotiator?
Yeah. I would suggest, if it's the pleasure of the board, that a motion be enacted giving your attorney the authority to negotiate with the city attorney of Durant for a proposal to present, because I assume city council, well, I take that back. The city manager has the authority to do it for the city. I believe he has the authority because the Title 11 is in state statutes is very clear that in our form, the city of Durant's form of government, that the city manager directs the activities, the day-to-day activities of those officers. Now, there's a manner in which they're appointed and so forth, but he has the right to do that. But I think the motion would say to authorize me on behalf of the board to negotiate with the city attorney and the city manager to come up with a proposal to present to this board about compensating the city for performing the services of secretary and treasurer of this board. And further, to authorize your attorney to draft a proposed change of the bylaws that would accomplish that purpose.
I
Could I
so
get that?
move.
Could I get the city attorney to come up for, I mean, not the city, city manager, could I get you to come out, Mr. Dean? I'd like to ask you a question. Are you in agreement? Do you think, I know you have the power because you're the city manager and you have quite a bit of power in the city of Durant, and I know you have power over this. Are you in agreement that possibly we can make a contract with y'all on
Yes, sir.
the service y'all render to us?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so what I'm asking, we had till November the 1st, which man, it was cutting us close. Can we slow that down and just negotiate y'all for the next month or whatever it takes to make a contract with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Do you need to tell us anything else? Because
I don't think so.
anybody
I
else?
think
got
we're
questions?
moving. So,
Well, we thank you for doing it.
yes, sir.
Like I
Appreciate
said, I think you're doing a good job here, and I think you're being fair with us, and I appreciate it a bunch.
Thank you. Appreciate it, sir.
Okay. All right, so we need,
I make that motion.
okay, and that, the motion is to let our attorney get in negotiations with the city and the city manager and the legal.
The city manager and his city attorney.
Do we need to add anything to that, Judge?
Can we add the bylaws?
The only, I would say to add to it, to also authorize your attorney to prepare a proposed amendment to the bylaws to
I'll add that to the motion.
And that's the motion you want to make.
Yes.
Okay, Charles made a motion to let our attorney do the negotiations with the city of Durant and the city manager. We
I
have a
second. Second.
Janet's a second, so we need a roll call.
Trustee Anthony? Trustee Calhoun?
Yes.
Trustee Reed?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Scher?
Yes.
Chairman Thorpe?
Yes. All righty, let's go to the next one. Let's go to number 4, discuss and consider approval regarding the fee schedule for open records request. So this is per page. Is this in line? I guess this would be aligned with the city of Durant if they want to get the anything from us. It's in the same line as what the city charges people to get into their open records. I'm asking if anybody knows.
Yes. The city, I believe on page 15,
Okay, page 15.
the city records request is attached.
And this is pretty well the exact thing they charge for their open records.
This is from the city. This is
Okay.
exactly what they charge.
So is anybody in favor of going ahead and charging for the records, or do you want to leave it to where they can just have it for free?
I think we need to use this form and charge for the records.
Okay.
Because somebody's got to spend time doing it.
Okay, so that way they have to sign in and explain why they want the records is what it is?
Yes, this form right here on page 15.
So that would make it legal. Is that okay, Judge? We're lining up with that?
I looked at, I wasn't aware you were going to deal with that at this meeting, but I looked at it before, and the city's form complies with state law for the Open Records Act.
Okay, thank you. So we're looking at this, and so you're going to make a motion on that?
I do.
Okay, we're going to make a motion on the cost of the open records, if there's somebody picking them up. You have a second?
I'll second.
Got a Danny getting a second. We got a roll call?
Trustee Anthony? Trustee Calhoun?
Yes.
Trustee Reed?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Scher?
Yes.
Chairman Thorpe?
Yes, passed.
I've got one question. Do we have any such request pending at the present time?
Yes, we do.
Okay, and have they filled out anything for it?
No, because we have not approved a form, and either Mr. Dean or Mr. Morrison, correct me, but the authority will need to create its own form. We can't just take the cities, but we can use like the prices and stuff like that. Okay,
Yeah, I agree with what Mr. Dean said.
okay. So I would say we need to create the form, and then the authority needs to approve the form
What
before
kind
we
of,
can ask someone to fill it out? Just, no?
I think you can use the same form, put the authority's name on it.
Okay, great.
Any more?
I mean, this form fits the state statute for open record.
Yes. Yep.
So I don't think we can go wrong on it.
Well, it'll have to have, I think it'll have to have the same wording, but it can, obviously we're talking about the city of Durant, you're gonna be talking about the trust,
Right.
it'd be name differentiation, but the substance of the form is, it complies with state law, and I don't think you'd want to alter that.
So I would just change it to read the authorities and then like our logo on it or something. Okay.
That answers my question.
Okay, so we've already voted on that, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so you're okay with that now?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to number 5 now. Discuss and consider approval of grant application for the FLW/FLW series. And we wanted some more questions asked, but Judge, before we do that, we had some discussion about this between us and the city of Durant. Is there anything that you can see that would cause us not to give them approval on this grant?
I'd have no idea what you're talking about. It's the first time
Okay,
I've
it's on
heard
the fishing tournament.
I mean, I've not even realized I was gonna be involved in this issue, and that's probably why I need to know that before, but what I can tell you is that you have definitions in your trust indenture, about what tourism is and what economic development is. And because of some previous discussion with the board involving some other requests, we realized, or I think it became apparent that cannot be done for capital improvement, for sponsorships, or things that promote tourism and people coming into the city for those purposes. Those things you're authorized to do.
Okay, on this one, if I remember right, this is the one that the city attorney was looking at, thinking that we have already looked at approving this fishing tournament. And apparently he put something in his magazine or his brochures that we were sponsoring that. And I think Janet knows. Janet, could you explain that?
So I will say we've spoke with Mr. Hoover a couple of times. He was unavailable to come to the meeting today to further answer the questions that we had from last month's meeting. But we did discuss with him that he does have Discover Durant listed as a host on the website, and we have not approved those funds. And let him know that, I mean, we didn't approve them, so we're not a sponsor of that yet. And he said that he could also address that next month if he was able to come and answer the additional questions as well.
I think the city attorneys, and he's not here to speak for himself, but I've asked him about the issue because it came up in a discussion I had with him, and I believe the city attorney was not acting as attorney for the city. And Mr. Dean knows, I don't think he was, any communications that Mr. Markham himself may have had with the authority or the administration of this authority through emails or whatever. I didn't take it that he was acting as a representative of the city of Durant. He was doing it on his own as a citizen. That's correct. But he doesn't lose his status as a citizen just because he's a city attorney. And the question, well, he was concerned because he apparently, as a lot of interested people, read the agenda of probably all boards and commissions that are connected with the city of Durant, not only in his capacity as city attorney, but as a citizen. And he was concerned, is what I understand it, that he found no formal action this board had taken. He was just trying to verify, has this board authorized this sponsorship? But I believe he did that as a citizen, not as the attorney for the city of Durant.
did you have a call with him today, or did he have a call with the other day and ask, did you ask him how many heads in the beds and how many fishermen were coming to this town, and were they staying in these motels or in Kingston or whatever? Did you ask me these questions today?
Again, no, we were having some conflicts with our schedules and he was only able to speak with us very briefly, like right before we walked over here. And our main point was the fact that, he already had Discover Durant listed as a host on the website when this authority has not approved the sponsorship funds.
You did talk to him today?
Yes, very briefly.
So he doesn't really know how many fishermen are coming or anything?
We didn't even get to that point because it was such a brief phone call. And then it was that if we were able to get this tabled to next month, he would be able to come and answer those questions and help y'all with those.
Well, me personally, we don't have the information. I don't have any problem not taking any action on this and wait until next month. I don't know about
We've
y'all.
taken no action to this date, have we?
It was tabled last month. And so that's why it's back on the agenda this month, because it was tabled. But since he was unable to be here, it's the authority's decision on if y'all want to table it for another month for him to be able to come and
And
answer questions for you.
If what he gives you is a book, like we got this time, might need to get it out a little earlier where we can
We can do that.
go over it.
Okay.
Just to point out, the grant is actually in the packet and has been. The grant itself is not what's made this packet so heavy. If you look, I believe these are advertising documents that are there, but the grant is in there and has been for the last 2 months. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we table this.
Is it better to take no action or table?
Yeah, and it's a matter of semantics, and you might get different, attorneys may have different rules, or different beliefs. I don't really like the
Tabling?
tabling thing, because to me, it's confusing sometimes to the public who you're ultimately trying to keep apprised of what you're doing, and I think it's just no action taken. Is what needs to be done.
Is that what you want to do, Janet?
Yes, that's fine. I
So
would
you
draw
wanna make
that
a motion,
motion.
To table,
I would draw that
take no
motion.
action on this FLW, right? At this time. We have a motion,
No
I'll
motion,
second.
just no action taken. I would do the motion.
you didn't have the motion?
Yeah, I think the minutes can reflect you had a discussion on it, and no action taken, and it just stays on
Just let
there.
it.
So we can just take no action taken and not
Yes.
have a vote.
I think so.
Okay, so we'll take no action on this and wait maybe for next time. So number 6, discuss and consider approval for advertising proposal. We got cost of commercial filming, and let me just go down through television advertising, like Tech Summit 2021 and Southern Living Magazine. Has anybody, I've been busy the last few days, had to go to Oklahoma City on emergency yesterday. There's no excuse. But I have not looked over all these, and I don't like to make a decision at this time on all this. There's about probably 80 pages in here. Is anybody excited about going through all of this outside the couple that we need to go through?
Just a statement, we cannot move forward unless some of these things are approved, and they have been in the document several times. The cost of commercial filming, we have got, in order to do that, we have to have a commercial for the Discover Durant. So we do need to look at that. If you want to exclude the others, that's up to the trust authority. But in order to move forward with some of the other advertising that we've already committed to, we do need to be able to do that.
So we need to go over the cost of the commercial filming, right?
Please.
And I will say I reached out to Mr. Ward, who was the gentleman that trustee Cross recommended to us.
What page is
And
that on?
it's not, it's just, I'm just letting y'all know. But I spoke with him and he spoke with Mr. Hughes and said they would collaborate together to be able to film a commercial, and they gave us a rough estimate of $2,500. So if the authority,
What's going to be the cost of it? Say a 30-second commercial?
the estimate was 2,500. So if the authority wanted to, make it firm at 2,500 or go a little over in case we decided to go
For any
fancy.
television station, we're talking about Oklahoma City, Dallas, Springfield, 2,500.
Correct. This would be for the commercial. This would be for the filming of the commercial and doing that. And then we would be able to use this for the other advertising pieces, like what we have.
Can we use the commercial anywhere we want to use it?
Yes, sir.
It'll be ours. You can put it in the shelf over.
Yes, sir.
Just for clarification, this is for the production of the commercial.
Yes.
That can be utilized any place we want to utilize it.
Yes.
Online, Facebook, wherever we want to place it.
Yes.
Do we
Yes.
want to go ahead and go with this, or do we need to see a sample of this? Do we need to see a sample of his work before we pass this, or everybody happy with the $2,500?
This was Tim, yes.
I don't know what his work's like, or if I hadn't seen it.
Do
I
you
mean,
know
I
how
will
this works?
say he will be able to do this and then give us like drafts and edits that we will be able to show in here for you guys to see before final cut.
No, the only one I remember us looking at that was pretty good was, I think the fellow was from over in maybe Denison or Sherman. And that's apparently all he does is make those kinds of, and this was over a year ago, as I recall. That's the only thing that I've seen. Have you presented something else?
No, this was the one we reached out to per trustees cross recommendation.
Is this who we're talking about now?
Yes. Is the one that trustee Cross recommended.
Are you satisfied with that?
I thought it was good. I don't know. Is this a 30-second
Yes,
ad?
yes.
And who decides what the content's going to be?
He would collaborate with myself and the other members of the chamber.
If he does something and we're not pleased, will he do something else?
Well, again, he can send us the edit that we can get a final approval on before final cut is done.
Before we pay him?
I think that it can be ran before the authority, before there's any closure put on it. The authority has the vote to accept it or decline it. So it can be brought before you guys, before it's signed off on, the production.
So we'll have things like the fort out here, Red River Museum, and different things that people can come and see, right?
Yes.
Anybody want to make a motion on that? 2,500 for the cost of commercial filming? Okay, we have a motion by Debbie. Got a second?
I'll second.
Danny, a second. We need a roll call?
Trustee Anthony. Trustee Calhoun.
Yes.
Trustee Reed.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Scher.
Yes.
Chairman Thorpe.
Yes, passed. Let's go to television advertising. We have a lot of television advertising, and I'm not, it's up to y'all, but I'm not excited about standing here looking at it for an hour and a half until we all go through it. And maybe this gives you a month to go through this thing, and we can decide on a couple, 3 things, but it's up to y'all. If y'all want to sit here and go by one, we'll go through all this advertising.
Just a suggestion, and I'm all about just no action on that item. Please keep these and look through them so that we do not have to duplicate it every time, because I believe the total content was 132 pages. And so if we don't have to reproduce that each time, it certainly helps.
And on top of the 132 pages, there's additional ones over here that we will pass out for you to be able to have to look through as well. Everybody needs extra reading material right now, COVID. You're stuck at home.
Because I think this television advertisement is really detrimental with this COVID-19 of advertising Durant and the hotels and getting heads in the bed and people staying here overnight, looking at downtown and going through the sites we have. But there's a lot of pages. It just depends on if y'all want to go into it, or wait till, take no action, wait till next, month and have it ready and maybe 2 or 3 things that y'all like in there we can discuss. So whichever way y'all want to go. If you
I'd
wanna-
say no action, take no action.
Anybody else, everybody else okay with that? Okay, we're gonna take no action.
Who's this local,
That's a Tulsa station.
that's what?
That's a station out of Tulsa.
Katie, I believe that you were the one that put the advertising documents together. Would you be available for questions? Should there be any questions?
Yes, definitely. The one I passed out today is additional information from a station in Tulsa. The rest of the television advertising in the packet is from Oklahoma City.
You did a lot of work on this and we appreciate it. I guess y'all can come back next month, right?
Yes.
I think you did an excellent job on it.
Also, the Dallas-Fort Worth market is included in that as well.
Is it? Yes. I don't remember. It's been in the packet a couple of months, I believe. Thank
So
you.
we got Debbie, you ready to take no action on this? You want to make that do we have to, just no action, so that takes
You're
care
not
of it. No
voting
action
up
on
or
that.
down. I think you just leave it on the agenda.
Okay, so number C, Lake Texoma, you wanted to look at these and Lake Texoma Association 2021 guide. Anybody got any information on that? You got some, Jennifer?
Yes, that's included in the packet. This is their 2021 guide. They're
Page
accepting ads, page 119 and 120.
Okay.
So they distribute about 50,000 copies are distributed annually. We did promote with them last year. We did a full page ad of $3,780 last year. And so the rate sheet is in there. And it's the authority's pleasure on what y'all want to do. If y'all want to do a half page this year, those are at $2,500.
Are we gonna be able to look at this ad before we put it in there?
If you would like, or we can use the ad that was created for the Discover Oklahoma.
Anybody got any questions?
This is a print ad.
Yes.
How about the Discover Oklahoma that's on television? Are we
Written on one.
involved in something there?
Well, that would be the production cost that we just approved. So we've got to get the commercial shot to be able to get that to Discover Oklahoma. But we do have the print ad for Discover Oklahoma completed and to them. And that one's done. So then this would
We
be,
don't have anything on Discover Oklahoma?
do what?
Do we have any ads in Discover Oklahoma at this time?
We do the print ads for next year's. We approved for next year.
What about the television part?
We've got to get the commercial produced. Yes. But we can use the ad that we had created for the Discover Oklahoma magazines for their print ads. We can use that same ad in Lake Texoma's. We can just send that one.
Any more discussion? Okay, anybody want to make a motion on this Lake Texoma Association 2021 guide?
I'll make the motion, we do a full page ad in it.
And the television, you said television too?
Well, no, it didn't include television.
There's not television in the Lake Texoma.
Okay, so we got a motion being made by Danny. That's seconded by Debbie. We'll roll call.
Trustee Anthony? Yes. Trustee Calhoun?
Yes.
Trustee Reed?
Abstain.
Vice Chairman Scher?
Yes,
Chairman Thorpe?
Yes, pass. D, Southern Living Magazine advertising. Got any information on that?
That's also included in the packet, starting on page 122. Southern Magazine sent this to our office. We told them we'd bring it before you guys. My apologies, I had it marked earlier in my brain. So they distribute 270,000 magazines to people who are traveling in the southern area of the United States. Their rate sheet is in there for their readers. And that there's about four readerships per copy is what they estimate on there. And then so their rate sheet is on page 125. And they do their rate sheets based off of how many issues you want to do. So there's 1, 3, or 6 issue option. And I'd also like to include on their rate sheet, they include design and layout of ads. So they would create a separate design for their magazine for us as well.
So you're saying there are 270,000 copies? How many copies are being made?
Yes, they are showing that they distribute 270,000 copies nationally.
What's our cost?
That would be dependent on what rate we want to go from and if we want to do 1 issue, 3 issues, or 6 issues. It looks like the, I guess, most budget-friendly option is the 6 issues at 1/3 of a page.
Any more questions?
I'd like to see one of them before we spend money on it.
Okay, we can find one. Because I'd also like to include, it shows on there that this is the cost per issue. So we would be multiplying that by how many issues is chosen.
When is the deadline to put this in?
I don't believe they had one in there.
But the rates may change
Yes.
too.
Do we have enough time for next month to look at what they do or add before we vote on it?
Again, the rates might change by next month, but we can check with them and see what the rates would be and get a copy. And if the rates changed, we don't want to, then. Yeah, we would probably have to give an agreement with them before they would design the ad. But I can check on that for sure. So we know, yeah, I can check on that for sure.
Does anybody want to make a motion on this or do we need to take no action?
I would like to see it. I've never heard of it.
Just a question, Charles, would that be, are you wanting to see the publication, the magazine?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe that they're online and probably, I'm not sure, but Jennifer, I think what you might be able to do is just to forward that to all of the authority and let them review it for next month.
Do you
Okay.
have one over at the Chamber
We
of
can do
Commerce
that.
that you could take a look at?
I don't have a printed one over at the Chamber of Commerce that I could look at, but if we need to try to find a printed one, or if we find one online and send it to you to print, we could do that.
And I believe in looking also that is the digital, that's online digitally. And so that would be both the distribution and then it is online.
Yeah.
A digital online.
So you don't want to, you want to take no action on this?
Yeah, I hate to buy a pig in the poll.
Okay, anybody want to make a motion to accept it or take no action?
Take no action.
Do what?
Take no action.
Okay, so we're not taking no action on Southern Living advertising. Informational during Chamber of Commerce activity report. You got anything else?
So if the authority does not mind, actually Clay Toma with Marketing Tex is here. He's who we contracted with to do our digital advertising. So his report is included in the packet on page 127. And so he's here to talk about how our digital marketing is going and answer any questions.
Mr. Chairman, since I'm on your clock, I'm going to excuse myself since you don't have any other action issues, so I'll have to.
All right, we thank you for coming.
And I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay,
My name is Clay Toma. I am with Marketing Tex, and we have been running the digital ads for Discover Durant.
what'd you say the name of your company was?
Marketing Tex.
Okay.
We're on Main Street. So we have been targeting Choctaw Casino Resort, people going to the Choctaw Casino Resort in order to get them, interested in coming to Durant, going to the restaurants, going to the hotels. We've been using Google Ads mainly to do that. In the month of September, we had 721 clicks, which is essentially people interested. These are search campaigns, so they're actually searching for hotels to stay at or restaurants to go to. We had 14,362 impressions for a total cost of $796. The average click CPC was $1.10, which means that's pretty much what you spent on each click, cost per click.
Clay, would you mind explaining what an impression is, please?
Yeah, so impression is how many people saw the ad as opposed to like how many people click through to it. So this is how many people are actually seeing it. So that kind of gives you an idea of how many people are clicking through to the ad, which is at 5% currently. So there were 721 clicks, 14,000 impressions. That's a click-through rate of 5%, if that makes sense.
So the 721 are people that went all the way through the ad.
Yep, they went all the way through to the website, and right now we cannot currently track what they're doing when they get to the website, but they're definitely interested and they're going. Something that we're working on currently is a couple of landing pages, one for places to eat and one for places to stay. And if we create the landing pages, then we can actually track what's called conversion rates to those hotels. We can track the person from the advertisement to the landing page to which hotel they actually click through to maybe book a room or which restaurant they were interested in. So that will help a lot, with not just seeing traffic, but actually seeing how many people were actually interested in what, restaurant and what hotel.
Do we know any of your other clients around here?
I'm working with Sign Depot currently, and then we actually work nationally with other computer and iPhone repair stores.
You don't do Choctaws?
No.
It's quite a bit bigger too, I guess.
Yeah.
Any questions about this?
I will say the reason we're creating landing pages instead of just using the current website is because Google looks at the quality of the website to determine exactly how much you're going to spend on each person that clicks through. So cost is determined by the quality of the landing page. So we're trying to create something better, something that we can actually track a little bit better and save you more money better spent.
So where can we look at this?
I'm not sure where. Are you talking about the actual data?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what page.
His marketing report, it starts on page 127.
I think maybe he was talking about the actual, where is it advertised? If you went to the internet, where could you find it? Would
Oh,
that-
the internet. Yeah, you probably can't unless you're at Choctaw because we're targeting about a half-mile to 1-mile radius around Choctaw Casino Resort.
And you
that way
may
we
want to
don't-
explain that again real briefly.
Sorry?
Like, you may want to explain that again, how that works.
Yeah, so we're essentially just targeting that area. So when people search for restaurants or for hotels to stay at, they have to be in that area around Choctaw. Because obviously there's a lot of people coming up from Texas, and you want to bring that into Durant as much as you can.
Is this picture and the advertising going to be on there every month, or is it going to rotate?
What are you looking at exactly?
I guess on 127, it's got Discover Durant and places to eat, McDonald's, Marco's, Main Street.
Jennifer, you may want to let.
So
I don't
that
know
right
if
there
Trey
is
has
the,
it, if he has it.
if I hear you correctly, that's the landing page we're creating. So that's what they will see when they click on the ad. That's just an example of it, what we're creating.
Will it
The
be
number.
changing out every few months, or is this
The
what they're going to
number.
click on? It's always going to be this?
That's going to be,
Number.
it can change out. We're pretty flexible, sorry. But that, as you see there, is you can see all American Asian baked goods. Those are filters for people to fine tune what they need to, what they're hungry for or whatever. And because currently right now there's nothing like that as far as filters go that I saw at least. And so we thought that would help with quality score and help with how Google sees the ad and how much they cost. They'll cost less because if the landing pages are good, again, Google likes that.
Any more questions for him?
Did you say half-mile radius of the casino?
Yes, it's roughly that. You can't make extremely precise targeting with Google Ads, but it gets really close, yeah.
So the two others that you have on what is my page 131, you're looking at places to eat and places to stay, which are the hotels as well. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
those are the mobile version of the landing pages, so.
Any more questions? You must have did a good job.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, number 8, report from the Choctaw Nation Tourism Department. Nathan?
It's we honestly don't have too much right now because our welcome center is actually being remodeled at the moment. So it's still open, but it has all the construction, everything around it. So our guys are out there in a trailer right now handing out all the brochures and all that. But it's supposedly supposed to be reopened and the remodel is supposed to be complete by December 31st.
So your next event out there at the center, when is that going to be?
Ooh, I really have no idea because I know that they've canceled all events on our end until at least January 1st, but I haven't heard no dates past that yet.
Well, and so it's not November anymore. It's January the 1st before they'll have any events out there, possibly February, right?
To my knowledge, correct.
Okay. How are you coming up on the tower? What's the estimated time that y'all will have that finished? I know it had to be sort of back because of the COVID virus and some of the workers going home, but when do you estimate that opening up?
The date that I sent y'all previously is still the only date that I've heard of, and honestly, I've been so busy I forgot what the date was I sent y'all a month or two ago.
Any more questions? No more questions? Thank you a bunch, Nathan.
Anytime.
Thanks. All righty, so now, any citizen comments on non-agenda items? Any citizen comments on non-agenda items? None like that? Number 10.
So I may add, we do need to allow, if there's any citizens that want to email a comment, they can email discoverdurant@gmail.com.
Okay.
And then if you'd like, we can go back and I can give my report real quick to allow anybody watching that wants to email a question. Our report is short. It is in the packet on page 126. This month was mainly spent working more on the website to create a shopping page, much like our eating page. That's almost completed and we'll be ready to show you by the November meeting. And then we also worked with a local company to create an ad for the Discover Oklahoma that was approved last month. So the pictures of those are on the report there at the bottom. You'll see it both horizontally and vertically. And then we continue to work with this state tourism department. They are doing for their 2020 ad, the "Okay, here we go." And they have placements for window decals and different stuff like that for eating and shopping all throughout Oklahoma, and premiering that at different places throughout social media. And so you'll be seeing us on our social media. We'll be able to start advertising more to different businesses of places to eat and places to shop and places to stay, and being able to use that hashtag and collaborating with the state on that. So if there's any questions.
Any more questions? All right, number 11, new business. Have any new business? No new business? Okay, we need a motion to adjourn.
I so moved.
Motion by Charles, second by Debbie. Roll call.
Trustee Anthony, Trustee Calhoun,
Yes.
Trustee Reed,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Scher,
Yes.
Chairman Thorpe.
Here. Pass. You can turn your microphones off.